Hello. You find yourself a bit outmatched. Looming over you, there are a number of Gith Knights standing sure-footed at the edge of the Spelljammer. It seems that they have little tolerance for primes who do not deliver their mithril. The Spelljammer crunches the old-growth trees at the edge of the river and arrives at a stop 50 feet in the air, suspended above you. We go to our initiative order. Spanbauer gives you a look, Taldred, as if he realizes that you were not exaggerating.
What is that exact look? I would like this broken down, please. Because I've been waiting for this. It is succulent to me.
He asymmetrically narrows his eyes. He looks at you as if he is reluctant, maybe even disgusted, that he has to admit internally that you are right. And also, he is now 50 feet below anything that he can attack. He's also first in the initiative order, and it is thus that he must call up to the Githyanki Knights. He looks at you, Taldred, and then up at the Gith Captain and says, "Whatever extraplanar shit you are, this land is owned by the Purple Dragons." There is a long moment of silence as the Gith Captain looms overhead, and then he yells back from the top of the mast, "Seeing no dragons, we are." Samantha, who is unsheathing her sword, says, "It's a metaphor." It is unclear to you if any information was actually exchanged here. Spanbauer with a 25 goes first. He casts Summon Celestial on the edge of the deck of the Spelljammer. One moment. The Celestial Avenger, a radiant angelic being, moves out of line of sight with frightening speed as it silently lunges toward the Gith acolytes. You hear sounds of combat from the deck of the ship. The dragons cry out with a roar as everyone moves to fight. One moment while I make the attack rolls for the Celestial. You hear the sounds of battle. Euros, you're up next with a 24.
I'm simply just going to look at Brenner and I'm just going to ask him quickly, do you want up there now?
Go. Sorry, he said go. Sorry, yeah.
Oh, I thought you said no.
That's what I thought too.
Figured I should clarify.
Yes. I will put my hand on you and I will cast Dimension Door.
Where do you target? Can you ping the other side of the Dimension Door, which you have to have line of sight on, which you do for the edge of the ship, the same way that Evan just used Summon Celestial?
How do you ping?
Hold down.
You can't... the pink one was you? Got it. Okay.
I'd say right about there with under the sails. You could probably see there, and then that would give us line of sight on away from the dragons.
Definitely. And you are a willing participant in this Brenner Roswick.
Correcto.
Why don't you move yourself to that location? I thought, wait, who is going up there? Euros or Brenner?
We're both going up there.
Yeah, Dimension Door brings both of them.
Got it. Okay. You stand 50 feet above the lands of Cormyr. You realize that a fall from up here could be fatal. It remains your turn, Euros.
I will hold my reaction.
You hold your action. Next up are the Githyanki Crusaders. There are two of them. You both see them up there. You see Gith Scion Knights Whatever horrible being beyond the plains that the Githyanki worship have imbued these warriors with psionic power. They are trained to fight on beachheads like this on your plane. Each of them has a large two-handed sword that looks designed to remove limbs. They close the distance between their available targets. One attacks Euros. One attacks Brenner.
I use my reaction to cast shield.
What is your AC with shield?
23.
The Githyanki Crusader swings twice. Both attacks miss. You get the impression that your quick shield is the only thing that prevented the first attack from hitting. Brenner Oswick, what's your AC?
26 adjacent to Euros.
The Githyanki Crusader swings twice, and both times the silvered, incredibly sharp blade swings just past your shoulder. Next up with a 19, Taldred Talton.
Okay. I gotta check the range on something real quick. Yeah, we're good. All right, so I'm trying to see what the size of it is. It's 10-foot radius. Okay. So, Taldred is going to cast Flame Strike. But first he's going to move. So he's next to Evan. Taldred's going to say to Evan, "Help me cover the casters." He's going to move in front of Ada.
Before you move, Spanbauer sees what you're doing and gives you a militaristic nod. Please continue.
And then he casts it, and I want to see. I guess I'm going to cast it on the front of the ship. I'm trying to see what all I can hit here. Yeah, I want to put it right where I just pinged right there. And it's a 10-foot radius, so I believe it would hit the Dragon Riders and the Acolytes, and quite possibly the Celestial as well, because it's also 40 feet high. It's a pillar.
I don't think there's any way you could do it without hitting the Celestial as well, but yes, I think...
Yes, that's, I said yeah, but yeah.
Got it, okay. And it's a... What is your spell DC?
Let's see, so what do they have to do? Is it a dex save? Yeah, so a dex save.
It's a dex save.
DC is 17.
17, one moment. You said 17, right?
Correct.
Both Acolytes pass. The Dragon Rider fails. The Celestial fails. Roll the damage.
What about the actual dragon itself?
Is immune to fire.
But it's only half fire. It's also half radiant.
Oh, is it? Oh, it's
Yes.
okay. Then it's immune to the fire damage.
All
Let
right,
me roll its. The Dragon Riders. Don't worry about the mechanics of it, but yes, give me the radiant damage, please.
So we're looking at 11 fire, 12 radiant.
On a fail, is that correct?
On a fail, correct.
Okay, 1 second while I do some updating. Why don't you describe this flame strike while I do that?
There's like a point. It starts from the top and goes down, and there's just like a shimmering spot, and then suddenly it just ignites in a pillar of flame downward. It's kind of like a white hot phosphorus flame color.
You notice something else as well. Your flame strike seems to scorch the hull of the Spelljammer. It remains your turn, Talter Talton. You find yourself close to Ada.
Yes, and with his last little bit, he turns to Ada and he says, I'll admit, I was a little inspired by what you did in the swamp.
I'll grin at you.
With a 17 plus, Brent Roswick.
Brenner just coming out of this magical portal for the first time and is being immediately onslaughted next to the edge of this boat. It's going to try to drive the spear into the left one, the closer one.
Got it. And yes, you realize that would you be shoved off the side of this hole, the damage would likely be fatal.
That is his intent.
You're attacking the left Crusader.
We're doing real well here. Wow. I'm assuming none of those hit.
Read them off to me.
It's
Give me the
a 15, a 14, and a 14.
miss. You
Yeah, perfect.
find that these Githyanki Crusaders are rather nimble despite their heavy armor.
Very well. We'll take a little action surge and try again. Perfect. We crit. Sorry, having issues with the... I don't know why that went through twice. 10 damage, piercing.
You
A pushing attack for 4 more additional damage from the superiority die, and can it make me a strength saving throw, please? 16 DC.
It passes. It barely holds its ground. You try to push it, but it's rather heavy and it's used to fighting on the deck of its own ship. You have a hard time getting your weight against it.
Does a 25 hit?
A 25 does hit.
Ten more additional damage. 8 additional damage, and can it make that save once more for me?
Sure. It was 16 DC?
18 total and 16 DC, correct?
It fails.
He was pushed 15 feet backward. That's right, 15. I don't know why that's the number they gave me, but...
The Githyanki Crusader is shoved off the side of the Spelljammer. One moment. It lands with a foul crunch. It stands back up here on Toril for perhaps the first time, steadying itself, but you can tell the fall did massive damage as it is bloodied. It remains your turn.
Take a 5-foot step to the right. Continue. I have one more attack this turn. Does a 24 hit?
The second Crusader 24 does hit.
18 piercing damage, and same deal as before, strength saving throw.
It critically passes.
Told him his grant.
It remains your turn.
That is all he can do at this point. For more dramatic flair, I want to get through the 16,000 rolls because Action Surge does this. Effectively, Brenner is planting his feet, driving the spear upwards, and then batching them off with his shield, trying to launch these guys backward. And I end my turn.
Nothing gold with a 17 minus.
So Nothing Gold calls out to the people around her, so Spanbauer, Ruthenberg, and then Gasmere as well. She starts to say, I can get 2 people up in the air, and then sees the Githyanki come over the side of the ship, fall right in front of the horses, and then just goes, fuck. So in that split second, did anyone seem interested in her offer?
Spanbauer and Ruthenberg are both eyeing up the dragon rider that you sense is about to swoop down toward you. You see the physics of it moving down towards you. They hear you over their shoulder, but they're both readying their swords, looking at the dragon rider coming down toward them. I'm not sure. Just Gastmere was also called to.
It's a bit difficult to read Gasmer's expression, but she does hear it, like she glances over briefly. But her gaze is kind of darting between the gift that fell and the ship. So she's undecided currently.
It remains your turn, Nothing Gold.
All right, well, this is kind of an emergency situation. So she will run up behind Samantha and Spenbauer, and so right about here, slap her hands on each of their shoulders and cast Fly.
They have to be willing. I'm trying to picture, are they willing creatures? I think they are. I think they're willing to fly. So you slap each of them.
Imagine!
It's hard to imagine, but you slap both of them. Can this target multiple creatures?
So I'm upcasting a level 4, so that means she can target 2.
Got it. They both feel these invisible sylvan wings. They're still ready on the ground. They both look to you as if they're surprised by you doing this, but they both steel themselves, perhaps ready to fight the dragons aerially now. It remains your turn.
Okay, she wants to use the rest of her movement to get onto the cart and, like, deal with these horses. Does it look like it will take an attack of opportunity if she jumps up and takes their reins?
No, that Githyanki Crusader just fell to the earth. It was tossed down here. It would not take a attack of opportunity if you wanted to as a bonus action cast, rather use animal handling to try to do that. Yes, do the animal handling check in an attempt to steady the horses despite what's going on.
Oh shit, that's a crit fail.
You fall off of the back of the cart. You lunge for the reins. You're prone for your next turn. You fall. Perhaps there was something wet in the back of the cart here, and as you attempted to lunge for the reins, you moved too quickly and fell back off of the cart. You'll be prone for your next turn.
Nice. Going well. This is going well.
The Githyanki captain goes. They look down right at you, Brenner, just below their feet. You can see that this Gith Spelljammer captain has an elaborate, decorated helm. They appear unarmed, other than a small purple gem being held in their right hand. Through their helm, you can see them looking at you, Brenner, and their hand closes around the gem. Roll 4d20.
It's raw 20s.
Yep, just raw 4d20.
11, a 13, a 3, and a 12.
Total it up for me, please.
Okay.
So he rolls a 27.
39.
You sense that you are being compared. Take 39 psychic damage.
All right.
The captain ends its turn, their turn. Gaspmere with a 15.
Lacking the ability to actually get on this ship, I think she will pounce on the nearest and available target, which is that unfortunate soul who just fell from the sky. So, as my bonus action, she's going to rage, sprouting claws and scales, and she's going to immediately dart like an animal, like 20 feet, and then has some more movement to close the distance. And she comes in hard with the rapier tip first. Since this person fell from the sky, are they considered prone and therefore the attacks are with advantage?
He already stood up, losing this turn essentially. So he's already back on a knee, no longer prone.
I will be reckless if that's the case. Does an 18 hit?
18 versus a Crusader. 18 misses.
Out come the claws. That might actually hit. 25.
25 hits.
She connects with the claws. Maximum damage 12. 12 slashing. And I would like this creature to make wisdom saving throw.
What DC?
15.
It passes.
Oh, never mind then. There's an ugly splatter of like ichor from her claws, but it doesn't seem to sink in. And I keep attacking. 2 more attacks. Those are not going to hit, considering it's a 6 and a 3, so never mind.
You're having a hard time with natural attacks getting through the otherworldly armor of this Githyanki Crusader. It remains your turn.
Oh, hang on. 19.
19 hits.
So the last claw attack will clip this person with minimum damage, so 7.
You slash through the heavy armor of the Githyanki. You think that this Crusader is probably clinging on to life. It remains your turn.
I think that's all of my attacks, so she is just baring teeth at this person and smiling just a tiny bit. Looking a bit unhinged.
You have a grim, unhinged smile on your face. Sal Vance with a 14 plus. You see a trained tiefling monk of the Oswick Company moving with ambition. She moves toward the downed Crusader and strikes quick and hard, keeping an earthly balance as she punches the armored foe with no regard to her fists. She attacks and misses, spending a key point to do flurry of blows. Attacks again and misses. Attacks again and hits. She punches the Crusader in the side of the head. Next, we have Samantha Ruthenberg with a 14 minus, with wings and the ability to fly. She moves to fly through the air, launching herself up onto the deck of the Spelljammer between the two acolytes, assisting her captain's Celestial. She attacks twice with her longsword. From down below, you can hear the sounds of combat and blows landing. Euros and Brenner, you watch as Samantha stabs twice, hitting the acolyte in front of her 2 times with her sharp blade. She ends her turn. The Githyanki dragons go. Each juvenile red dragon breathes fire. They both breathe fire around the cart, hitting Spanbauer, Nothing Gold, the cart itself, the horses, Gastmere, Solvance, and their own Gith Crusader. Gastmere, Nothing Gold. Make 2 dexterity saving throws.
One's a 22 with a nat 20.
That's a pass.
The other one is a less than 10.
That's a fail. So that's what? That's Gastmere pass 1, fail 2. Okay, so Gastmere pass 1, fail 2. How about Nothing Gold?
NG failed twice with rolling 13 twice, but as a reaction, she'll cast Absorb Elements, which will give her resistance.
Got it. Let me roll some saving throws here. The cart is burned. The top of the cart is incinerated. What's left is little more than the frame and the wheels. Both horses are scorched by the fire. Evan Spanbauer is scorched by both fireballs. The Githyanki Crusader on the ground is part of the flame breath that engulfs the area. Gastmere, you take... Do you need the sources of damage broken out, or is one chunk okay?
I think since this is all magic or non-physical sources, it should be fine. Just one chunk.
Take 48 fire. Nothing Gold. Before resistance, take 62 fire. You see that Salivance is covered in fire and must be fighting for her life. Nothing Gold, you are engulfed in flame. Evan Spanbauer is engulfed in flame. The dragons both land. This juvenile red dragon on the right sizes up Elias Kit with his glaive and attacks twice with its claws. Elias is hit once. One of the red dragon's claws cuts through his abdomen. Nothing gold. This dragon swipes at you. As you're still prone, it makes this attack at advantage. What is your AC?
17?
It hits twice with each of its claws. Take 11 slashing. The Githyanki dragons end their turn. Next up is the Githyanki dragon riders. Each of the Githyanki dragon riders are wearing bulky, heavy plate mail and carrying a long lance with a streamer attached loosely at the hilt. The red dragon underneath them is connected by means of a large, mithril, ribbed saddle, and the dragon seems to strain under the weight a bit of the Gith Knight. Both of them move to joust with their lance. Gastmir, what's your AC?
I believe it's 17. Oh, except... Oh, I forgot to ask about that, because I think Paladins choose a fighting style at level 2, and I was going to ask if you can use some of the ones that were in one of the Unearthed Arcanas, which gives a +1 to AC. Plus some other stuff, I think it's like Marina or something like that.
Without having this Unearthed Arcana document in front of me, approved, sure. If you've already built it into your character, we're going to roll with it.
Okay, 18 in that case.
The lance brutally impacts your right shoulder. Take 18 piercing.
Which I will half, I believe, because I am raging.
Its dragon swipes at you twice with its claws. It attacks twice. Both miss, I'm sure. The other dragon rider descends on Elias Kitt, who does his best to manage the two dragons bearing down on him with his glaive. The lance misses. This dragon also attacks twice with its claws. One hits, one misses. You sense that Elias is getting a bit overwhelmed over here. The Githyanki Dragon Riders end their turn. The Githyanki Acolytes go next. Each of the Gith Acolytes are wearing angular plate mail, and they're both armed with a silver mace and shield. The shield takes the shape of a large buckler, and the Acolyte moves confidently as if the shield has no weight. One, gazing over the side of the ship, points at the Githyanki Crusader on the ground. It also looks between the other Githyanki up top. It casts Mass Healing Word. Let's see, that is where. The other Githyanki Acolyte, closes its hand on its mace and looks down at you, Taldred Talton. You sense that it says something to itself. You feel judged.
Rude.
It guesses your alignment. Are you lawful neutral?
Nyarp.
You take no damage. The Githyanki Acolytes end their turn. Ada Worthware with a 4.
Okay. I'm going to move in this direction. And going to try and catch the dragon and the boat. I don't know if it's going to be possible to not catch Samantha. But you know, things happen in war.
She can fly.
So I'm going to be mostly a line like this. It's 5 feet wide. And I'm going to try and catch the dragon. I'm going to channel a ball of liquid light and emit a 60-foot line of pure white light. This is pure radiant sunlight. It's in my hand is a small opening to the elemental plane of radiance. Every round that I concentrate on this, I can do this again, by the way.
Is it 5 feet? Please say it's 5 feet.
5 feet in width.
It should miss everyone else, thankfully, I think.
We'll
Maybe.
see.
Ada Worthware. What spell do you cast? What is the spell called?
Sunbeam.
You cast Sunbeam. One moment. Ada, on a dusty moor under a cloudy sky, there is a Tenari eating a fallen one of its kind. Black, leathery flesh, all tendons and limbs. It is difficult to tell which leg belongs to which. There is a bat-like mouth sucking on a fat pink wound, and occasionally an appendage kicks. Your book rumbles. You transgress. There is a crackle of power from the black clouds here, and then suddenly 6 strikes of lightning. Back in the prime, your sunbeam is charging up. The clouds here in the abyss are parting as orange power begins to swirl in the skies above Cormyr. The bolts of lightning here in the abyss crash onto the dusty abyssal landscape, and in the flash of light and shadow, 6 Tenari assemble themselves. The cannibalistic demons size up the feeding singleton, and their weight shifts unnaturally as they move to lunge. Back in the prime, your spell has assembled. Your book throbs with power. A crisp beam of light from the plane of radiance parts the clouds and smashes into the hull of the spelljammer. The line is 5 feet wide and 50 feet long. The ancient ironwood of the spelljammer stops the light, and for a moment you're not sure if it has any effect. From down below where you are, Ada, it is difficult to discern what is happening up on deck. Then, gloriously, you can see it, gray smoke rising in a line, indicating that your spell is damaging the vessel itself. Ada Worthware, you realize something. If you concentrate and channel the spell, you just may be able to damage the spelljammer enough to force it to retreat. It would take all of your efforts to do so, leaving you unable to move, but gaining advantage on all concentration checks. Do you give it your all and concentrate?
Oh, yeah.
You hold your concentration. You transgress. You have advantage on all concentration checks for the next 60 seconds. You transgress. You gain +1 to checks holding this concentration. The deck of the ship is slowly burning. Lightning crashes into the dusty landscape. The clouds rumble and it begins to rain blood. Novel, gibbering creatures are created from each lightning strike. Go ahead and roll the damage for the sunbeam. And what is your spell DC?
It is the first round, so I'll be taking double damage because of keeps. Evocation Master, so I add my proficiency to the damage, which gets added twice.
Both acolytes fail. Samantha fails. The dragon in the air between Elias and you fails. Everybody failed their save.
It's 66 radiant damage.
One moment. You use this radiant power to scorch Samantha and the two acolytes that she is fighting. The Spelljammer itself is caught up in the light. It remains your turn.
I will brace my legs backward. Like I'm holding back against the energy, even though nothing comes. There's no force. I'm just opening a portal and directing it. The sunbeam will end at the end of my turn. So it'll be like a quick zap that comes out and then extinguishes. And I will just stand there and concentrate on maintaining the spell. Will not do anything else.
You do so. Elias Kit with a 3. You see a human bannerman of the Oswick Company steadying his glaive as he struggles to fight back against the two dragons that are cornering him. He attacks the dragon that you just hit with the sunbeam. He attacks twice. Missing both times. You sense that his glaive is just barely sailing past this dragon. He action surges. He attacks again. This time he hits. His glaive catches the dragon. Let's see, it's 1d12. From where you can see Ada and Taldred, Elias got a good chunk of that dragon's wing. He ends his turn after swinging 3 times. We're back at the top of the order with Evan Spanbauer with wings. He moves here on the ground, fighting terrestrially, to fight the dragon rider in front of him. He attacks twice with his arming sword. His first attack hits. His second attack misses. Damn it. He catches a piece of the Dragon Rider's leg and stabs deep and hard into where the Dragon Rider has his leg around the saddle of this dragon. He casts... Oh, no, that's not a bonus action. He ends his turn. His Celestial moves to attack the Acolyte that is in front of her. She attacks 3 times. All 3 miss. Euros with a 24.
I will quickly move up to the side of Brenner, next to the captain.
The captain is up in the crow's nest. He is another 35 feet up there.
Oh, I didn't know he was up there. Okay.
He's up at the top of the sails. Your hand is still in the piece, so feel free to, if you have a way to get up there, feel free to do so. Otherwise,
I don't at the moment. So I'll just move to the other side of Brenner. And then I will hit the Crusader with Booming Blade.
21 on Crusader 2. That hits. 21 hits.
He takes 13 piercing damage and 6 thunder damage.
Those 13 piercing, 6 thunder?
Yes.
Got it. And if he moves before the start of your next turn, he takes more damage, right?
Correct.
Got it. It remains your turn.
Okay, and then I will immediately follow up with a second regular attack after the first hit. That one is a 17, though.
17 misses.
That's fine. And I will just hold my reaction and bonus action.
The Crusaders go next. The Crusader here on the ground stands its ground in the middle of the fire around it. It takes a swing at you with its two-handed sword, Gasmir. What is your AC?
18.
It hits. Take 14 slashing. With its second attack, it swings at Sala.
Up to a 7.
It swings at Sala and misses. The blade goes over its head. Goes over her head. The Crusader up top moves to attack you, Brenner, taking 2 swings at you with its two-handed sword. Does a 21 hit?
No, 26.
It misses twice. Both times, its two-handed sword flies just past you. You sense that these swords could be devastating if they do hit, and you're thankful that you have so much protection against it. The Crusaders end their turn. Talder Talton with a 19.
Nothing fancy. Talder is going to cast. I just had Mass Cure Wounds on everybody. Let me just do a count here. What about the horses? Are the horses dead?
They're not dead, but they seem injured. You see them rearing up
Okay.
in pain, covered in
Well,
fire.
I can heal 6 people within a 30-foot sphere. So considering I have 1, 2, 3, 4 allies and then 2 horses, I'm gonna heal the horses as well.
How much do you heal them for?
Let's find out. $28 for everybody.
28 HP.
That is everybody on the ground, correct?
Well, not Elias.
That is Gastmere, Salavance, Nothing Gold, the horses, and Evan, right?
Yes.
Got it. Okay, 1 second on my enter.
Is it a targeted sphere with the heal?
Yes, it's a circle or a sphere. Yes.
Remains your turn, Talbert.
You could hit Elias and everybody else.
Could
I don't- If it's a 30-foot radius, I don't know about
Is
that.
it 30 or... Oh, I thought it was 60.
1 second. Let me see. 30-foot radius sphere. So yes, it's radius. So technically 60 across. So if I let's say I don't I care more about Elias than the horses, which I do. That would be 1, 2, 3. Yeah. It looks like I could do it.
Okay, let me undo some heal. Oh, what changes here? No horses, just Elias. Is that
No
correct?
horses, just Elias. Yes.
Got it. Nothing. What about you're not hitting Samantha or anyone on the ship, right? Or the Celestial? Is that correct?
Could no? She's 50 up, so I couldn't hit her. I don't think. Right.
Yeah, it's a sphere. You're right. That makes sense. Well, no, that doesn't make sense because you could. I think
I could point it up
Yeah,
and center it.
I think you could like airburst it and hit.
I'll let you decide. Do you think she could be caught in that?
I think so. Yes.
If so, then throw her in too. Yes.
Okay. Give me like 60 seconds here. This was 28 hit points, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
And while you do that, the way it happens is Taldred like reaches out, and it fabricates a giant crescent moon, glows, and it disperses into wisps that float down and heal everybody, reinvigorate them.
You surge with power. You heal people with the backing of Salune. Anything else for your turn?
Yes, actually, there was one more thing. I want to do a perception check concerning the Dragon Riders. My thought is the saddles that they're attached with, do they look, let's say, uncomfortable, for example?
They do look uncomfortable, yes.
Tolder is wondering if it's possible to, unseat those riders. Although then we would just have wild dragons doing God knows what. Even if they flew away, I'm not sure that's a positive outcome. But that was just my thought. I have nothing else.
Well, you can roll perception concerning the dragons. Would you like to do that?
Yes.
Do so.
Nine.
You understand that these are juvenile red dragons, perhaps 200 years old. Each of them has a slender, powerful form. Taldred, this reminds you of the approximate size and posture, just their body, of a lion. They have fragile-looking, bright crimson wings. The scales that adorn their bodies look supple, even beautiful. You gain no tactical information with your 9.
Fair enough.
Brenner with a 17 plus.
I think now, after suffering the effects of a psychic blow, he's probably got blood streaming down his face, and we'll be using second wind.
Roll the heal.
Healing for maximum 20 HP.
You steel yourself, finding some healing in your own resolve.
Will attempt to deliver an onslaught to the Crusader in front of him. (24).
24 hits.
Natural 20. And a natural bot.
Natural what for the second one?
Critical pass and then critical fail.
Let's resolve the critical hit first. Give me the damage.
Be 13 for the first hit. That is 22 for the crit.
13 and 22 on Crusader 2. Got it. Roll D10.
Three.
You feel like you're about to lose your footing here on the Spelljammer. Roll a dexterity saving throw. The Spelljammer moves just a tiny bit. You're used to fighting on the ground.
16?
It shifts and you barely keep your footing. Anything else for your turn?
I don't think so, no.
Nothing gold with a 17 minus.
Not get pushed back.
I can do that as a bonus action, but I use the bonus action to use second wind instead.
Okay, I didn't know. Sorry.
Good.
What did the range of the fire attacks that got breathed on us look like?
It is, in your estimation, it is a 10-foot radius fire breath that incinerates everything friendly and enemy in front of them. You look as the horses writhe in pain. They struggle against the reins.
I 1 second checking ranges on things.
Sure. You feel a bit hemmed in, Nothing Gold. There's a dragon on either side of you. You have to just stand up, getting to your feet in the cart here, as the cart threatens to be pulled away by the horses.
Geometry! Okay, so she's prone. Is that half movement to stand up?
Yes.
Okay, she's gonna start moving this way, and then she'll use her action to summon the Eldritch Rabbit on the cart where she was previously, and use her bonus action to command it to shield everybody friendly within. Let me check the range.
10-foot radius, I think.
You're right, 10 foot. Alright, let me roll the temp HP. Okay, so each of the horses, Spanbauer, Gasmere, Saul, and Nothing Gold herself will each get 9 temp HP.
9 temp HP to Solid Gasmere, Captain Spanbauer, and Nothing Gold, and your wireframe fire rabbit is here inside the cart. It remains your turn.
Yeah, she's staring down this juvenile red dragon like, hey, I look really flammable right now, right? Don't you want to roast me specifically? But that's it for her turn.
The Githyanki captain with a 16. They look down at the two combatants directly below them. They throw a psychic lance through the air, a lance from their mind at you, Yoros. Does a 23 hit?
It doesn't if I use my reaction to cast shield again.
Do you use your reaction to cast shield?
Yes, I do.
You do so, neatly mentally parrying this psychic lance through the air. The captain casts Psionic Inspiration on each of the dragon riders, giving them advantage on their next attack. The captain ends his turn. Gastmere with a 15.
person is still alive. I'm gonna try and end this gift that we've been trying to end for like the full turn here. So she's gonna take a brutally reckless swing at the Skith's body parts. Shoulder, let's say.
You do so, recklessly swinging at its shoulder. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
That's not gonna hit. I'm just gonna keep attacking, because that's what I do. I claw. 13 plus 7 is a 20.
20 hits.
We take 10 points of slashing damage from a backhand claw.
You backhand claw this Githyanki Crusader directly in the shoulder. You sense that this thing has taken quite a beating. You see many dents in its armor, yet somehow it's still on both of its feet. It remains your turn, Gasmir.
Keep trying to fix that. Take another swing. That's a 19 plus thing, so I assume that hits.
It does.
That is 11 points of slashing damage. As she comes in with another playful swat.
This time, you catch something softer, its neck. Your claw penetrates the thin armor around its neck, and you fell this first Crusader.
Excellent. And with my one remaining attack, I will spin around and go for the... Do I have to go for the dragon or the rider that's behind me?
They are, from what you can tell, one unit. You could attempt to attack just the rider. You sense that they're probably more armored than the dragon. However, you know that if you fell one or the other, that both will probably fall. Did that make any sense? Did I word that in a confusing way?
The same unit.
They're the same. They're the same unit. You could target and attack one or the other. The dragon's probably more fragile.
I'm gonna go for the dragon actually, because it looks a bit easier to like claw at its belly or something while it's in range. 18.
18 hits.
Could it make a wisdom saving throw for me?
Yes. What's the DC?
It's 15. It takes 9 points of slashing damage.
It fails the wisdom saving throw.
Okay, the nasty looking Ica does like catch in its claws and kind of seep into it, and it will have to use a melee attack on something in range, hoping the rider.
Why don't you roll a d4? There are 4 potential targets. Let's see what it randomly slashes out at.
Forgot about what's her face. Sala. Sorry about that, Sala. Why am I rolling? Sorry.
A d4, please.
D4. That's a D6.
Spanbauer is the 1, and we're doing these essentially counterclockwise. So you're 2, Solace 3. The
What's a
rider's a
1?
4. 1 is Spanbauer.
Oopsie.
Do I get
Well,
to
this-
add my flash of genius to this?
To this roll, no, this is too bespoke.
And this dragon has used its reaction, by the way, so if anybody wants to like fuck off from near it.
It swings at Spanbauer and misses. Its claws sail past his abdomen. It remains your turn, Gasmir.
Let me just make sure that it's actually random and not just making that part up.
I think my hand is off the piece, so why don't you research it for next time?
Creature of your choice.
It can attack a creature of your choice.
Yeah.
You'll have to specify next time.
Yeah. I guess I just really wanted it to take a swing at Spanbauer.
Fair point.
Perhaps you did. Sullivance, with a 14 plus, moves to punch the same dragon rider that you just attacked, Lissa Gasmere. She punches once. She misses. She spends a key point to flurry of blows. Attacks twice more. Both miss. Her fists sail past the dragon rider. It's all just happening too fast for her to land with these blows. Samantha Ruthenberg with a 14 minus, currently with wings, being incinerated by Ada's spell. She uses her action to disengage and jump away from... No, probably she can fly. So she disengages off of the ship, moving out of the range of the sunbeam, which she should be able to right there. I think if it's 5 feet wide, she should be out of range there. She moves to fly away and casts Holy Weapon. Her sword glows with white light. She ends her turn. The Githyanki dragons go next. You sense that they are charging their fire breath back up, and now they attack with their claws. The eastern dragon attacks Elias. He is freshly healed from Taldred. It attacks twice. A critical miss and a miss. The dragon to the west crawls over the cart, pushing the horses out of the way with its wing to attack you, Nothing Gold. Does 16 hit?
It does not.
26 does, though, I'm sure.
It does.
It slashes at you with its vicious claw. Take 9 slashing. The Dragon Riders go next. The Dragon Rider to your east, Gasmere, attempts to attack back at you with its silvered lance. Remind me your AC.
18.
It attacks you with its spear, skewering you. Take 11 piercing. It pulls back its lance and attacks again. It hits. Take...
Round down or up?
Say again?
Does it round down or up? I think it rounds down.
What do you... This is for the purposes of damage from being enraged?
Yeah, I'm reducing damage because I'm raging.
It rounds down. Right?
That's what I thought.
Someone check me here. I'm pretty sure it rounds down.
I believe it does, yeah.
You always round down.
Yeah, I can't think of an exception. This is pre-reduction. Take 9 piercing damage. So 12 and 9. The Dragon Rider to the east attacks Elias with its lance. Its first attack hits. Its second attack hits. Elias takes not 1 but 2 lances to the abdomen. He's still alive, but you sense that he's bloodied. The Githyanki Dragon Riders end their turn. The Acolytes go. The Northern Acolyte targets you, Taldred, with Psionic Bolt. What is your AC?
24.
It misses. The other Githyanki acolyte targets you as well with Sonic Bolt. Bolts of pure energy are fired at you from the side of the ship. It also misses.
Talder's hiding behind his shield.
You do so, and these bolts of energy fly past you. Ada with a 4. Still concentrating.
I am. Tell me the condition of the juvenile red dragon in front of me.
The juvenile red dragon in front of you is full health. It appears to be uninjured.
Did I not hit it with Sunbeam for 66 damage last turn?
Oh, you're right. That's Dragon 2. Sorry. So Dragon 2 is not bloodied. It is injured.
It is injured.
Yes, Dragon 2 is injured.
I would like to repeat the same Sunbeam, and this time I can see Samantha Ruthenberg, so I will take care not to hit her, because she's already going to be pissed off enough at me.
Definitely. You retarget your Sunbeam, hitting Dragon...
Like
so you'll hit one Dragon and one Acolyte, and the ship again.
Yes, that's what I'm going for.
Okay.
Something in this range. I'm sure it's not going to be precise, but close.
You channel your Sunbeam.
He aimed it slightly down. I think you could hit both acolytes.
You hold your concentration, Ada. You transgress. You seal yourself. Your +1 bonus of concentration becomes +2. The Gith captain's helmet looks down toward the deck of his spelljammer as it begins to burn and atomize. There are uncountable numbers of creatures being created every moment. Even as they rip each other to shreds in a frenzy, the total number of demons seems to be increasing with every moment. Go ahead and roll this radiant damage. And what was your displaced? It was 21. Okay, 1 second.
27 damage.
Fail. It's got to be a fail. They all 3 fail. And it was how much damage? 27?
27. Did I hit Samantha this time?
You did not. Aiming at how I think you're aiming at, you did not. You hit the Spelljammer, both Acolytes, and the Dragon. 1 second, 27. Right. That's Acolyte 1, 27. You bloody both Acolytes. Both of them appear to be being beaten down by this pure radiant energy. The Dragon seems much worse for wear. The radiant energy almost takes off its left wing. Anything else for your turn, Ada?
I still cannot move or else it breaks my concentration, yes?
Correct. You must stand here, holding yourself and stealing your power to summon the maximum energy to destroy the Spelljammer. Or at least force it to retreat.
I'm on this road. I'll stand pat.
Elias Kitt with a 3. He takes his glaive and, inspired by Taldred healing him, swings at the Dragon Rider in front of him. His second swing with the glaive connects. He catches the shoulder of the Dragon Rider, causing a spurt of blood as it cuts through the armor. Elias ends his turn. At the top of the order, Evan Spanbauer with a 25 moves to stab the dragon to his west. No, he didn't get attack of opportunity. He moves to attack the Dragon Rider to his east, stabbing at it twice with his arming sword. Actually, he casts Wrathful Smite using his bonus action. and swinging at the dragon. His first attack misses, his second attack hits. He hits the dragon, cutting a ribbon into its wing. He ends his celestial goes, attacking the acolyte that's been bloodied by Ada in front of him. The celestial swings 3 times with its astral longsword. Go ahead.
Just as a reminder, Sunbeam causes blinded if the target fails to save.
Both of them failed to save. They are both blinded. Which
means attacks have advantage.
I have the celestial neatly bisects the first acolyte with a crit, cutting it in half. It uses its move to finish its attacks, taking 2 attacks at the second acolyte. We make them at advantage when we re-roll them. Its first attack misses, and its second attack hits. The celestial cuts into the armor of the acolyte. It ends its turn. Euros with a 24.
Okay, I will move to the other side of Brenner. And then that way it'll let him brace a little better, and then I will immediately aim up at the crow's nest, and I will cast Eldritch Blast to try and blast the bottom out of the crow's nest.
Got it. You were attempting to hurt the Spelljammer. You're attempting to blast a hole in the wood. We will say that you do so successfully. You use Eldritch Blast to blow a hole in the crow's nest. I'm going to make a dexterity saving throw for the captain, DC 15, to see if he's able to keep his footing. He is. He critically passes. You blow a hole in the bottom of the crow's nest, but the captain moves deftly to get out of the way and maintain his footing. He holds on to the rigging of his ship and calls down to you, "Trying again, you will have to be, Prime." It remains your turn, Euros. Anything else? Still thinking?
I'm still thinking.
Take your time.
After he shit talks me, I will use my bonus action. I'll put my curse, my Hexblade's curse on him. And then I will hold my reaction.
You do so, cursing him. In Char's name, question mark?
I tell him to piss off.
You tell him to piss off. The Githyanki Crusaders go next. Only one is still alive, locked in combat with Brenner. It attacks you with its greatsword. What's your AC, Brenner?
26.
It attacks twice and misses both times. It looks frustrated that it is unable to get you off of its own ship. It ends its turn, Taldra Talton, with a 19.
I'm going to use the Baylor Horn, since it seems we have a chance at offense here. And I'm going to target on Gastmere. But I have to pick either your main hand or your offhand. Which one should I pick?
What are you casting?
Basically, it'll add a 1d10 lightning damage to every attack made by this weapon. So which one is going to be attacking more frequently or has a better chance to hit?
From what you've observed, she more frequently slashes with the claws, which is her offhand.
Okay, then you got electric hand now. And I have a question. Does using this item constitute casting a spell? So, like, could I cast a bonus action spell is what I'm asking.
You mean for the purposes of like leveled spells or like
Yeah, right,
action?
because I
occurring?
wouldn't be able to...
I see.
if this counts as casting a spell, I wouldn't be able to use a bonus action spell.
This does not count as yes for the purposes of like spell leveling and stuff like that. This is not casting a spell. It's using an artifact.
Excellent. Okay. Then I'm going to give... Let's see. What level do I want to cast that at? We're going to do 4th level... Healing Word. There it is. 4th level Healing Word on Elias.
Healing for how much?
Let's find out. $18.
You heal Elias for plus 18, closing his wounds. You sense that you're the only thing keeping him up against these two dragons. It remains your turn, Taldric. Go ahead.
Yes, right. I do have movement. We're gonna move closer to Ada, but not in her line of sight of that beam. Specifically, like, I assume this would be too close, so I guess I'll move like right there.
You sense that you should stay out of the way of whatever is between Ada and the Spelljammer.
That'll be it for me.
Brenner with a 17 plus.
Both thankful for this Dwarven training manual backing him up for these defensive tactics, and somewhat incensed seeing a celestial being cleaving through these things, reminding him of days gone past. I want to continue the assault on this Crusader. That was a 22 hit
A 22 does it.
for 10 additional damage.
10. Slashing?
20
Piercing?
Piercing true. It's the Drow Spear.
Got it. Okay, one sec. Sorry, let me... Forgive me.
No worries.
You said 10 piercing Crusader. Got it. Okay.
That's a 20 hit.
A 20 does hit.
I did the wrong thing, but that's the next attack I need.
You've bloodied this Crusader, by the way, with your first attack.
Okay, 8 damage for the second attack.
8 piercing. You stab it again, finding purchase through its armor.
And it does not fall, correct?
It does not fall.
Let me back up here. 28, I assume, hit.
28 does hit.
For an additional 11 damage.
11 piercing. It does not fall. You continue to stab at it. Still your turn, Brenner.
Brendan's gonna hold his ground and bark out to yours behind. Keep at it. Get him down here.
Trying.
Nothing gold with a 17 minus.
Actually, can we have a break soon?
How about now? Want to take a 5-er? Sounds good to me.
Sounds great.
See everyone in a little bit then.
Good luck.
This is certainly going. This is one of the combats of all time.
Yeah.
Nobody's fallen yet. I keep remarking that.
It is surprising. I'm just more worried about the next wave of breath attacks and presumably however long it takes for this man to drop a 4 to 80 damage psychic no save blow to you.
Yeah.
You know what's stupid?
What's that?
I calculated it out, and I could have had a 30 AC at this point.
If
Brenner wasn't so
stubborn.
stubborn.
It is what it is.
Are you and I the only pure classes? Oh, Taldred must not be.
I don't know. I don't know if Taldred is anything but cleric.
Yeah.
I am almost pure.
You dipped. That doesn't count.
I know. It was just 1 point.
I certainly feel a lot more effective at dealing damage than the rest of the party.
You also are a wizard and
Yeah.
have a literal fucking ion cannon crossbow in your back pocket.
I mean, that thing's broke. I think I'm about to be nerfed soon, reasonably.
Yeah, with a 1v1 melee guy on you.
No, with demons attacking me.
I really hope Ada doesn't fucking keep firing the laser beam and then gets fucking portaled off to whatever realm of demons these are.
It's got to be Avernus.
I always get confused. Is Avernus just the single plane and the devils are the ones with the 9
Oh,
hells?
Avernus is devils. Avernus is the first of the 9 layers of
That's
the
true,
devil
that's
hells.
right.
And it's like the beachfront, so there's demons and devils.
Yeah, but more demons means more magic, right?
Oh, totally. That's what
Yeah,
the sequence
so
is
it's-
about, just telling me that I'm really strong.
Yeah. So you're just like charging.
Drawing from the demon weave, and as we know, the more demons that are in that weave, the better the sun be, right?
Yeah,
Exactly. They're
exactly.
just weaving. It's the loom of magic.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's like when you add more batteries to something, the better it gets.
Surely all these demons are not going to be a problem.
That's tomorrow's problem.
I really hope Ada doesn't turn out to be the Game Gear of wizards.
I hope I don't turn out to be the villain again.
Well, how about this? What if we just go to Zentil Keep and we open the portal with all your demons and leave?
That's totally, yeah, that'll totally work.
Yeah, they'll all come
Alright,
out.
guys, campaign over. You did it.
The world's literally ended.
Turn out to be the villain without actually even knowing that you're the villain. Is that how it works?
Yeah.
I'm like,
Oh, what's that one board game?
Battlestar Galactica.
Betrayal.
Oh, Betrayal on the House on Haunted Hill.
Yeah. I played one or a couple rounds of that with some friends at some point, and I turned out to be the villain without actually knowing that I was the villain, and I just got this like a letter or something, and it's like, oh, your new goal is to murder everyone else. I'm like, I just given an item to somebody else that would enable me to teleport to them to help them because they were getting fucked over by these, I don't remember what, and I ended up using the items to teleport over to them to stab them to death. So
That's some 7D chess right there.
yeah, I kind of felt bad and awesome at the same time.
Everyone back? Good to go?
Yep.
With a 17 minus, nothing gold.
Alright, so we're gonna bonus action generate new temp HP.
For the same list of beneficiaries as last time, I assume.
Exactly. Okay, so everybody gets 7.
Got it. 7 temp HP to Spanbauer, nothing gold, Gasmere, and Solivance.
And the horses.
And the horses. Got it. Okay. Remains your
Okay.
turn.
I would like to use my action to cast Entangle. So we're gonna do like this area here.
Got it.
After hopping back out of it, and the dragon needs to make, I think, beat a 15 strength to not be restrained.
Got it. 15 strength saving throw from the juvenile red dragon.
Yes, please.
One moment. It passes.
All right. Well, it's difficult terrain now. That'll be her turn.
The Githyanki captain with a 16 goes. It casts Psychic Lance on Taldred. Taldred, what's your AC?
24.
It crits. This psychic bolt hits you directly in the forehead. Take 44 psychic. With its bonus action, it casts Psionic Inspiration on both Dragon Riders. And ends its turn. Gasmir with a 15.
Well, since there is still a dragon and a dragon rider right there, she is going to keep attacking those guys, and we'll keep doing it recklessly, and she's going to take a swing with her rapier first, and she's trying to aim for the dragon. Because it's more menacing. And possibly easier to hit. Ooh, that's gonna miss, probably. 12, yeah.
12 misses.
Terrible roll. And she's gonna test out these fancy thunder claws that Taldred gave. So she's gonna take attacks with her claws next. Recklessly. Swiping like a streak of bluish thunder across the air.
You can smell the ozone emanating from your right hand.
That's a good question. I think it might be left. Dirty 20.
Dirty 20 hits.
And that adds what, a D10 to the damage?
D10 lightning damage, correct.
Okay. Do I need to separate any of this damage? Does it matter?
Not this time.
Okay. It takes 19 points of damage. And got 2 more attacks, so she's going to keep swiping. $18 plus things hits, I assume.
It does.
It's a sad 1 on the 10, so that's going to be 10 points of damage. Let's do the last one.
You
Oh,
can
this dice.
continue cutting away at this dragon. You find its flesh difficult to cut through even with your claws. Its scales seem naturally resistant.
Well, take 1 more swipe. 16 plus things hits, I assume.
It depends how many things. I'm guessing so.
So 16 plus 7.
Yes, that hits. 23 hits.
Double ones. So 8 points of damage. My dice hate me.
You're
There's a 1 on both the D10 and the D6.
you're chipping away at this dragon rider, but it still seems relatively healthy. Anything else for your turn?
I think she's going to say to the dragon rider, I suggest you retreat while you still have your head on your shoulders.
The dragon rider is difficult to understand through its closed face helmet, but you know what it said. Retreating we will not be ever.
Not as much, but it was worth a try. That's my turn.
Sal Vance with a 14 plus. She moves closer to the dragon rider to assist and try to beat this thing with her fists. She punches twice and hits both times. She bloodies the dragon, punching it, and ends her turn. Samantha Ruthenberg with a 14 minus, using her nothing gold granted wings, lands on the ground behind that dragon rider and moves to attack it. She swings twice with her longsword. Both attacks hit. And because she has a holy weapon, it seems to sear through the dragon's flesh. Both of her attacks substantially injure this dragon rider. You sense it is close to death. She ends her turn. The dragons go next. Both of the dragons rear up off of the earth and target with their fire breath. Elias gets a chance to make an attack of opportunity as this one on the right rears up, which I will do. His attack misses. For the western dragon, it can hit Nothing Gold, Taldred, and Evan, and it does so. Can the three of you make a dexterity saving throw? Obviously, I'll do Evan's.
So NG fails with a 9, but she'll use her reaction to once again absorb elements.
I also fail with a 9.
Both of you, before mitigation, take 22 fire.
So my crown halves that to 11.
The dragon on the right, the eastern dragon, breathes in the same spot. Can all three of you, including Evan, can you make dexterity saving throws again?
I fail.
Evan passed this one. How about Nothing Gold?
I crit failed.
Before mitigation, if you have any, take 16 fire. The dragons end their turn. The dragon riders go. The western dragon rider attacks Gastmir and Sala, each with its lance. The first attack on Gastmir is a crit. How much is that? Take 28 piercing.
Down to 14.
And the second attack on Sala hits. The dragon rider skewers her, landing a deep blow in her stomach. The eastern dragon rider moves to attack Elias. Both lance attacks hit. And Elias takes both lances to the body. He is knocked down, but alive. The Githyanki acolytes, of which there is only one left, go. It casts... Mass Cure Wounds. Targeting its 30-foot sphere so that it's able to hit... Let's see, it's going to miss one. It's going to hit both dragon riders and the dragon in the middle, and it's not going to hit itself, and it's going to accept the attack of opportunity from the Celestial. Which hits. The Acolyte heals both of the dragons and the dragon rider. The Celestial seizes the opportunity and hits the Acolyte while it's casting with its longsword. It ends its turn, Ada, with a 4. Maintaining your concentration.
Can I speak and maintain my concentration?
Of course you can. Yes, please.
How does the dragon look? The juvenile red dragon.
The western one or the eastern one?
Dragon 2.
Dragon 2, the eastern one. It is looking not so good. It's better than it looked a second ago, but it's still bloodied. It's still in pretty bad shape.
Okay. I will stand my ground. The boat. Tell me how the boat looks.
The boat looks... You are cutting into its hull. There are massive lines of smoke coming off of it where your sunbeams are cutting into it.
I will, for a third time, target my sunbeam in the same location. But as I expect to see the assemblage of the Tanari in the beachhead of the Nine Hells, I will close my eyes in a vain attempt to not witness it.
Closing your eyes just makes it come harder into focus. You hold your concentration. You transgress. You gain +3 to checks holding this concentration. The Gith captain sees you cutting into his spelljammer, and he barks something downward, as if he's giving an order to the ship itself. The blood reflects off of the skin of the creatures down here, Ada. This pile of slithering biomass is growing. Lightning scorches the hide of one of the creatures, and on the prime you can smell burning keratin. The smell seems to frenzy the surrounding Tanari. Anything else for your turn, Ada?
Nothing.
Elias Kit, with a 3, is knocked down and makes his death saving throw. He fails. At the top of the order, Evan Spanbauer. Moves to attack the freshly healed dragon rider that him and his lieutenant are now flanking. He attacks twice, hitting both times. Both of his attacks with his arming sword hit and find purchase on the dragon rider. This dragon rider seems just barely alive as Evan catches it again and again in the leg. Blood is dripping down its plate armor. His celestial attacks the acolyte in front of it. Both of the Celestial's attacks hit. This Celestial cuts this acolyte down into the hull of the ship, brutally beating it with the sharp of its longsword. this acolyte dies.
I never rolled my damage.
For the sunbeam,
The third sunbeam, yeah.
yes, please do that.
Okay.
This may affect a couple things here. So yes, thank you for mentioning that.
36.
Well, I think independent of saves, then you would have killed that acolyte anyway. So that acolyte is now extremely dead. You do you do 36 to the dragon there. You said that was it, right? 36.
Yes, 36.
You neatly cut that dragon's tail off, high up its spine. With a sickening crunch, it goes end over end, landing in a pile below the ship. Back at the top of the order, the Celestial ends its turn. Euros with a 24.
I'm just gonna make a second attempt at this guy, and I'm just gonna cast Eldritch Blast at him again.
Are you aiming for him or for his crow's nest?
Well, there's 3 blasts technically, so I guess one could go to him to try and knock him off balance, while the other 2 hit the crow's nest.
Got it.
Because I like to imagine that the other Eldritch Blast put a hole in the bottom.
It did. I think that the combination of these many blasts, I think you blow the crow's nest off the top of the rigging here. The crow's nest crumbles. The captain falls to the deck of the ship. It's a hard fall, one moment. With a crunch, he lands at your feet. He is prone on the ground, and you sense that he took a good chunk of bludgeoning damage from the fall. Still your turn, Euros. After casting your 3 Eldritch Blasts.
Him falling in front of me doesn't provoke anything.
No, I don't think you can reasonably get your weapon up for an attack of opportunity.
Well, I mean, I have it out because I can cast with it. But I was going to say, since I have Warcaster, I can attack of opportunity with spells.
I think your 3 blasts knocked. Yeah.
I was just asking.
Yeah, absolutely, of course. Anything else for your turn?
No, I'm going to continue to brace here with Brenner, and then I will hold my reaction and bonus action.
The Crusader with a 20, frustrated as he has yet to hit, swings at you, Brenner. What's your AC?
26.
He misses and critically hits. Roll a d4.
4.
The Githyanki's two-handed sword. His first attack misses, as you've become used to. He's having a difficult time connecting. His second attack comes down directly on your right arm and cuts it off. Take 36 slashing. Roll a Constitution saving throw at disadvantage.
26. Don't need that arm.
You somehow resist shock. Your right arm holding your sword,
Correct. Spear.
holding your spear, is on the deck of the ship next to you. Blood cascades out of the right side of your torso. The Githyanki Crusader ends his turn. Taldred Talton with a 19.
Good lord. All right, we're going to do Channel Divinity, which allows me to heal targets of my choice within range I have 55 healing points to dole out. These healing points cannot take you above your half of your maximum. Gastamir gets 30. Nothing Gold gets 20. Taldra gets 5.
I think Gasmir might be an invalid target if it requires somebody to be below like half their hit points.
You don't have to be below them. It just these can't take you above half. How close to half are you?
Not that close.
So it'll still take you to half then.
Math.
Sorry, I think what I'm saying is that it's not going to do anything because I have so many hit points.
So you're still above half?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought you were.
You already healed me that
Oh.
one turn, and I half like every physical damage that I take. I take
Fair
damage, is what I do.
Okay.
On that note, NG
yes.
is also above half.
No shit, man. I thought you guys were way more hurt than that.
Look at my temp HP generating thing doing its job.
Well,
It's
I'll
the
tell you.
rabbit.
I'll tell you what. Then, hands still in the piece. I will channel divinity, divine intervention.
Oh shit.
So I roll a 1d20. If I roll 11 or under, Selune intervenes in some way. And considering how low I've been rolling, I feel good about this. I think I'm about to crush this.
Good luck.
Let's see. So. No. I'm sorry. It says roll percentile dice, not 1d20. So I have to roll. Never mind. That's a 1d100. Fuck it. I still feel good about this.
I was gonna say it's like a super low chance of intervention. Let me read it.
Presumably you're also asking for like assistance and not fuck these people in particular.
Correct. Yeah, I rolled 41 either way. It does not work, but so that's my main action.
You, in desperation, reach out to Selune. You get no response.
Fair enough.
Remember, you want to use your
Following that up, we will do. I'll do rank 4 healing word on Elias, and this time I'm going to remember that I have that light diffusal thing that allows me to take half of that healing to someone else. So 1 second while I roll this.
Yes, you can bounce your heal around with your light diffusal system.
We're doing this at 4th level again. Jeez, the exact same. So that's going to be 18 to Elias.
Elias stands up. You get him conscious again.
Fantastic. I'm going to throw another 9 to nothing gold. And then I also get a little bit of heal due to my divine domain, which gives me 2 + 4, 6.
You heal a number of your companions. It remains your turn.
So that's action, bonus action, and I don't feel like moving, so that's it for Taldred.
Brenner Oswick with a 17 plus. Pain radiates through your body. You don't even have time to feel a phantom limb yet. Your arm is on the deck of the ship next to you.
Brenner at this point is battered, bruised, and literally missing an arm, running entirely on adrenaline. He's going to put all of his weight into this mystical shield that he has, trying to ram straight forward at the Crusader.
Making a shoving attack, it sounds like.
Yeah. Roll 13.
13 misses. You try in desperation, oozing blood. Blood is spraying from the right side of your torso, where your shoulder once was. You lunge at the Githyanki. The Crusader easily dodges your desperate strike. It remains your turn, Brenner.
Don't believe Brenner can actually do anything else at this point, nor is he of sound enough mind to keep barking order.
You are in the throes of agony. The Githyanki's sword seems impossibly sharp as he winds it back up. Nothing gold with a 17 minus.
So this fire breath attack, this fire that they are breathing, is it magical?
It is not magical. I mean, it depends on... Tell me more about the question.
Okay, so here's a really dumb idea, as per usual. Nothing Gold has Control Flames cantrip. So if she sees fire, she can put it out. Now, this does have a range on it. It's like 5 feet. But if she sees the dragon open its mouth, about to breathe out a spark of fire, can she just... whoop?
I suppose you'll have to try next time. Why don't you roll Arcana?
Okay, let's roll Arcana. $15. I'm gonna add Flash of Insight to that.
You get the impression that the fire breath of a dragon may be outside of the realm of what Control Flames, a basic cantrip, would be able to control. You wouldn't want to waste your efforts.
Okay, and then over on the other side of the battlefield, Elias is battling this dragon rider alone.
Yes, he has been holding 2 dragons at bay for quite some time with his glaive. Taldred has been healing him and keeping him up. He was just knocked down after 2 lance strikes from the dragon rider that is currently menacing him, but Taldred just got him back to his feet, and he's doing his best to keep this dragon rider at bay.
Okay, she will come help. She's going to use, well, first of all, bonus action while she's here to generate a new set of temp HP for everyone. So let me roll that. Max temp HP for everybody. Same list as before: horses, Gasmere, Saul, Spanbauer, nothing gold, and I don't think Samantha's in range.
That's correct.
So what about Taldred? Does Taldred get it?
I don't think he's in range.
He's not in range with the rabbit.
Got it.
And then she will use her movement to hop, skip, and jump over here towards Elias. And then can she try to thorn whip this dragon rider off the dragon?
No, they are. You looking at the saddle, you think that it would be the only release would be death. You'd have to pry them off of the saddle. You can tell just from looking at that these are reinforced saddles, and they are more or less interred within the dragon that they're riding.
Just full of dumb ideas today. All right, we'll just roll Thorn Whip straight on the dragon then.
It's a range attack, right?
Yeah, it was a 13.
13 misses.
All right, that's her turn.
The Githyanki captain with a 16 uses half of his move to stand to his feet and get some bearing of stability back on his own vessel. From what you can tell, other than the gem in his hand, he is unarmed and instead drops his armor and tries to shove you away, Euros. Euros, roll strength against me.
Just strength, nothing else.
Just strength.
Botched.
What is it? Because
31 or nat 1.
despite This Githyanki captain, you get the impression, is not a strong combatant and a little bit uncoordinated. You're even more uncoordinated than he is. He shoves you 10 feet. You are pushed up against the top deck here of the Spelljammer. Take.
Does this technically count as an attack?
It's a shove.
Alright, that's fine. Just let it go.
Take 2 bludgeoning. He looks at you with a measure of pity, Brenner, and casts. He casts Psionic Inspiration on the Crusader and the Eastern Dragon Rider and ends his turn. Gasmir with a 15.
I don't think I'm going to do anything different than what I've been doing. I'm going to keep helping Sala and Spanbauer try and dismantle this dragon and rider, because they will come apart if you slice them up. First with the rapier. Aiming for the dragon again, by the way. That should hit. It's a 17 plus 7.
It does. 24 hits.
Okay, this is without the lightning damage because that is on the offhand. That is 5 plus 11 points of slashing damage.
Dragon Rider 1.
Well, this is reckless again, just.
You cut into the dragon again.
And then she's gonna go with the claws and try and claw up its underbelly or neck area.
This dragon was healed, and now it is once again bloodied.
That is 23.
23 hits.
$16 points of damage. 2 more attacks. More claws to the underside. 19 plus things. I'm fishing for that 20, but no. I assume 19 plus things.
19 plus things hit, yeah.
Not a very good damage roll, though. That is 11 points of slashing.
And lightning?
Last.
Yes, go ahead.
That included the lightning, yes.
And 1 final attack, is that correct?
Yes. That might not hit. That is a 9 plus 7, so 16.
16 misses.
Swing. Very durable.
These are durable riders on durable creatures. And you've watched this one get healed twice. Still your turn, Gasmir.
I'll stay where I am.
Saul Vance mimics your attacks, helping to bring down this dragon rider. She does the same thing you did and continues to attack with her fists. Her first attack misses. Her second attack misses. She ends her turn. Samantha Ruthenberg, with a 14 minus, attacks with holy weapons still on her longsword. She attacks twice. Her first attack hits. Her second attack hits. She inflicts grievous damage on this, her white glowing blade sinking into the dragon's tail again and again. She ends her turn. The Githyanki dragons go. The Western dragon. Flies taking to the air after breathing fire and lands directly between Gastmir and Sala. It attacks with its claws, once at Gastmir and once at Sala. Definitely a miss on Gastmir. And a hit on Sala. Getting a piece of her torso, doing minor damage. The other dragon is dead. Both riders go. They have advantage again because of Sonic Inspiration. The Eastern Dragon Rider attacks Elias. Hitting him once and twice with the lance. Actually, let me break these out. Let's do the first one. Hitting him with his lance and knocking him to the ground. He is unconscious again. This Dragon Rider then moves its dragon directly over Elias's body and moves towards you, Nothing Gold, using its movement. And then attacking with its lance, attempting to skewer you. What's your AC?
17.
It hits a natural 20. Take 26 piercing. The Dragon Rider ends its turn. The Acolytes go, but there are no Acolytes left. Ada with a 4. Go ahead.
I'm going to put my book away.
You put your book away.
I prefer not to get seen by Orcus. I will instead channel what little magic resilience I have and cast a cantrip. It's going to be Eldritch Blast at the Dragon Rider in front of me.
You cast Eldritch Blast. Your book still throbs with power in your pocket. Go ahead and roll the 2 hit with your Eldritch Blast.
Beams. Okay, let me roll the hit. Nine.
9 misses.
Unfortunate. I will take my time to get lost in the trees.
You take your time to get lost in the trees. Ada, every time you close your eyes, you can see something. Progression in the abyss. No matter how far you run in the trees, you can smell it and feel it here on the Prime. There is no sun in the abyss to blot out the clouds. The butchery down there is overwhelming. Back on the Prime, you can smell blood, Ada. Ada, roll perception. Ada, you can see it. Sheer biomass and butchery. Endless fields of Tanari. And then, back on the Prime, something happens. The stern of the Spelljammer starts to move as the ship attempts to jump back to the astral plane. Anything else for your turn, Ada, as you are trying to get away from yourself in the woods?
I'm gonna call out to Taldred. You don't need to defend me anymore. I'm out of gas for now.
Okay.
Elias Kitt with a 3. Downed again. Makes his death saving throw. And passes. At the top of the order, Evan Spanbauer grits his teeth and attacks the dragon rider in front of him twice with his arming sword. Both attacks miss. His celestial moves across the deck of the ship to flank the crusader that is between you and it, Brenner. It attacks 3 times with its astral blade. It hits twice. It stabs the Crusader in the back 2 times. It has no expression on its angelic face as it does so, Brenner. You look up with a measure of trepidation. Brenner and Yoros, you feel something. It feels like the ship is moving and lurching a bit underneath of you. Yoros with a 24.
Okay, I'm going to quickly move up to Brenner. I'm going to grab him, and I'm just going to tell him, we are leaving.
Brenner doesn't respond. Can Brenner use his reaction in order to do the thing he was going to do anyways, which is to take his left hand and grab the shoulder of his right arm?
Yes, of course.
Thanks.
You do so, you're doing this, right? It's attempting to stanch the bleeding. Blood is everywhere. You're starting to feel immediately lightheaded, even though it's only been 10 seconds as a one-armed man.
Where's his arm?
He's trying to grab his arm off the ground from the shoulder.
Okay. You do so. You pick up your disembodied arm.
Okay, I was about to ask.
Forgive me, I misinterpreted.
No worries.
It's okay. Since I'm kind of close to the edge, is it too much to say that I could see around where Taldred is?
You can see Taldred.
Okay. I'm going to put my hand on Brenner, and I'm going to cast Dimension Door and take us to Taldred. Behind Taldred.
Brenner, are you a willing participant?
Willing but frustrated.
Go ahead. Move yourselves.
As just a question for my clarity, is the spear still in my other hand, or did it go flying?
It is still clutched in your gauntleted hand.
For prosperity's sake, Brenner, I would say you're north of me, near
Okay.
the trees.
Still your turn, Yoros.
So Taldred would be standing here, and then out of nowhere to his side, just a quick, like, purple door will open, and then we'll both just kind of, like, tumble out, and I'll be standing with my sword out, and then Brenner will be behind me. And I will hold my action, or my bonus action and reaction.
The Githyanki Crusader, up on deck, goes, locked in combat now only with the Celestial. It attacks the Celestial with its Vorpal two-handed sword. Its first attack is a crit. It cuts the Celestial's head off. With its second attack, It casts Psionic Bolt at Taldred. Your AC is 26, is that right?
24.
24. It misses. Another sonic bolt goes sailing past your shoulder. The Crusader ends its turn. Taldred Talton with a 19.
Oh, so you both come stumbling out of that door, and Taldred sees what is going on, and he goes, "You stupid son of a bitch!"
Is that to me?
It's to both of you.
Fair.
Fair.
He goes, "I told you not to go up there. I fucking..." Okay. Okay. Let's talk about the situation with Brenner's arm. It's bleeding horribly. I would like to try to do a medicine check to tourniquet that. Like, explain to me the specifics of this wound. Is there a little nub sticking out that I can try and tourniquet, or is it like at the shoulder?
It is at the shoulder. There's about 8 to 10 inches of unstaunchable wound. Blood is gushing from it. You roll your medicine check.
$24.
You think that you better stop that bleeding, champ.
He will turn to Yoros. He says, "Fire." Can you do any?
I can conjure a small amount, yes.
Cauterizing the wound would be ideal.
Brenner is next in the order.
How much of my action has been taken up by that conversation?
Not very much. Perhaps some of your bonus action.
Okay, so I know my bonus action. Understandable. I still have my actual action, though.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go with that. Let's channel divinity this time. We are going to do 30 points to Elias. 20 points to Brenner. 5 points to Samantha. Yeah.
Got it. For NPCs, 30 to Elias, 5 to Samantha.
Correct.
Elias, again, stands up, brutalized and battered.
Both me and Taldred feel so bad about constantly putting him back into this situation.
He looks significantly worse for wear and stands up, sort of still being menaced by this dragon rider who realizes that something just stood up under its left wing. Still your turn, Taldred Talton.
That is all he has for now.
Brenner Oswick with a 17.
At this point, I don't think Brenner is really understanding the gravity of the situation. Can't really parse the medical conversation between Taldred and Bjoros, and he sees this dragon between his now again alive first in command and Nothing Gold. With arm in hand, he is charging forward towards the dragon and striking it with his severed arm. Notably, this is the piece of his body that was scarred by Torm. It is no longer with him. This isn't the severance he wanted. I guess it'll do.
Roll to attack at disadvantage. You sense...
I'm rolling an unarmed strike here, I take.
Sure. Yes, an unarmed strike. I was going to limit your damage.
Ironically.
I just didn't know if I was rolling for the spear's number or my hand's number.
I think a hand is probably more reasonable. You're right.
Well, we're going in. Disadvantage of 27 both times.
Or be damned, this arm's going in.
You hit. Your severed arm does 1 piercing damage as the spear limply hits your target. You are in a daze, barely striking out, but you have a strange sense that Torm is no longer with you.
He's riding that high. I'm not going to deliver more attacks this round and end my turn.
Nothing gold with a 17 minus.
Alright, let's generate some more temp HP with the bonus action. Okay, 10 to the usual suspects.
Got it.
And then she is going to switch from the whip, which she curls back and pulls out the dagger, Obsessor, which she will use against the dragon's underside.
Go ahead.
Still a 13.
13 misses.
And I think she starts to turn around to like say hey to Yoros and Brenner, and then sees him missing an arm, and is like, "We'll unpack that later." And that's her turn.
You end your turn. The Githyanki captain with a 16. Suddenly, something happens. The keel of the spellbreaker snaps. It cracks in half. The stern, the captain, and its remaining dragons suddenly disappears to the astral as the bow of the ship falls forward. A tremendous mass of burning wreckage slams into the ground, crushing trees and anything beneath it. Corpses of Gith knights spill from the wreckage like larvae from a corpse. There is no sign of the stern of the ship or the Githyanki. The wreckage is almost entirely impassable. The mangled, crushed corpses of several Githyanki are tossed from the crash. Suddenly, it is very quiet.
Immediately gonna grab Brenner.
At this point, I believe
Ditto.
no dragons involved. Brenner has stumbled to his knee.
And I imagine there's fire around me. I'm gonna control flame and cauterize this ship.
You do so. We're off initiative. You cauterize the flames. Both horses are rearing up in agony. Sala Vance looks overwhelmed and like she's hyperventilating. Elias Kitts stands to his feet.
Asmir looks around. There's some lack of enemies, especially the one that she was trying to tear apart, and she lets out a noise that sounds like one of those dinosaurs in Jurassic Park, basically. It sounds like an inhuman screech. She sounds a bit unhappy.
You emit a shrieking cry. Gastmir, an important question. They might be back. Do you want them back or not?
If?
Did you say if?
She probably wants the one that she was fighting back, specifically, yes.
You sense that the Red Knight is watching you.
I'll approach Elias Kit.
Samantha and Evan look at each other. Go ahead, you approach Elias Kit, who looks overwhelmed. He has both hands around the shaft of his glaive. He is breathing heavily. He looks over at Brenner. He moves past you, Ada. He rushes over to you, Brenner. Ironmane! My God. Torm, save us.
Does Brenner hear that?
It sounds like it's millions of miles away.
Okay.
It's echoing. A question for people off over the table. It's 9:06. Normally we stop at about this time. I know we started late. Obviously there's plenty of stuff written. We can keep playing. But do people have to go? Or do people want to
I'm
go?
good.
I'm good.
Okay. Let's keep. At some point, I need to eat. So let's keep going for now. Sounds good. And forgive me. Please continue. You are off initiative. You are rushing over to Elias, who is rushing over to Brenner. Ada.
I'll let him go. Is there still a dragon corpse in front of me?
There is. It is not on the map, but there are many corpses. Githyanki corpses, dragon corpses. The Githyanki look otherworldly and strange when you can see them up close like this, Ada. The massive hulk of half of the Spelljammer is smoldering here.
I would like to walk up and inspect it.
Roll investigation.
$25.
You find several things of note. 1. A secured container. 2. Several Githyanki corpses. Should you choose to take their objects from them. One moment on the secured.
I am in fact pilfering, and also trying to determine if this is an astral anchor.
One moment. I can't think. Roll Arcana for your question regarding the astral anchor.
13.
You think that this is analogous to Brenner's arm.
I'm going to drop the rock to other people, but I will be looting and pilfering and trying to gather power for the group, because clearly we need it.
Speaking of Brenner's arm, I envision it at this point cast aside at his knees. Everyone has the ends of their rope, and I think this is Brenner. Between the cauterization and the blood loss, he's barely there conscious.
Taldred begins healing Brenner more in depth, with particularly at the, localized on the wound in particular, to help the flesh heal, level 2 cure wounds.
And after I cauterize, I will prestidigitate. I can't say it, to clean around the wound.
And that's another 19 healing.
Ada, you find, with your 25 investigation, a number of items. The silver armaments and armors of the Githyanki Knights, as well as a mace, as well as this secured box.
I'm going to collect it and lay it on the grass. I think I'm going to take the lockbox.
You do so. It's locked. Samantha and Evan size each other up, checking each other for wounds. Sala limps over toward you, Brenner, and tries to help put you back together in vain. The ship is burning. Thick black smoke fills the sky. You hear no birds. It is strangely silent except for the babbling of the brook.
I'll approach Samantha Ruthenberg.
She is breathing heavily and wipes sweat off of her brow. Her sword is still glowing with white power, with white energy.
Samantha, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Are you okay?
She has her face in her hands and sighs and turns to you and just says, I know, it's okay. Don't say anything. I need a second.
I'll leave her alone and go check on the cart sitch and the people involved.
It's not looking good. You hope that you won't lose your deposit on the cart if you were to return it to Col Cormier. The top half of it has been scorched, and it has limited use now as an object of moving things. And it'll be significantly less comfortable to ride it. At this point, it is a little more than a plank behind two horses. The two horses are quite spooked.
And Nothing Gold is basically tending to them to try to calm them.
After Gasmir has taken a moment to calm down as well, she walks past Samantha and briefly claps her on the shoulder and then heads over to the others.
She gives you a respectful nod, perhaps respect that you didn't have from her 5 minutes ago. In the silence, Evan Spanbauer calls over to the group surrounding Brenner. I hate to say it, but we need to go.
It's not that simple.
That one needs medical attention beyond what you can provide. A hospital, a surgeon.
Better than me. Unlikely.
I think they would have seen all of this from Suzail. I think we're not going to be alone for long either way.
For what it's worth, I don't think the Githyanki are coming back anytime soon.
It's still unwise to stay here for long.
I agree.
I agree with that, but our cart is in bad shape. Is anybody handy? Is anyone a craftsman of sorts? We could quite possibly use the ship to repair our cart. I mean, that's quite a couple planks.
Nothing Gold. I believe this is your field.
You want me to do, like, what, in 3 days? I can get you something together?
We have a lot of hands here.
You don't know mending.
I do, but mending does not work on something that's damaged to this degree. This is barely structurally sound at this point.
I think we're at the point in all facets of this campaign right here, toward Suzail, of triage. Do you think you can do that? I'm not asking for a great card.
Would it be faster to go to Suzail or to stay here and fix the cart? We could buy a new one in Suzail.
Do you want to move Brenner in the state he's in without a cart?
She sort of softens at that, and she looks over at him and says, "Is he not gonna make it otherwise?"
I can fucking walk.
Please just take a look at the cart.
He's stable, but it's better if he doesn't exert himself right now.
All right. So can she roll something involving intelligence to figure out, like, how long it might take to get the cart put back enough together to at least transport Brenner?
How about
Taldred would like to help with this because he does have a history of working alongside an artificer.
That is absolutely true. Yes. Why don't you roll it at advantage then? Roll straight intelligence at advantage. I think that's told you that is incredibly applicable.
All flash of insight, so 15 total.
You think that you could probably put Brenner back there right now as it is. It might not be stable, comfortable, or long term, but you could get him down the road. You know that you're probably only a day's journey or so from the capital. You think that you certainly could take some time to make repairs on this and make it more comfortable for him, make it safer for him, and also you wonder about the sanitation of someone with such an open wound being carried on this, horribly mangled cart. But I mean, it'll move right now.
And then to make it more comfortable, is that on a matter of hours?
A matter of hours, yes. You could take a couple of hours here on the road using available materials and get the cart back to some semblance of completeness.
Okay. She will convey this to Taldred.
Let's do it. We can spare a couple hours.
Okay.
Everybody rest up.
You can take a short rest and do this.
I'm going to ask Yoros to load the gear onto the cart that we got. We're in dire need of upgrades.
Will do.
The rabbit will go keep Brenner company.
Please,
Taldred will also instruct whoever will listen to wrap Brenner in a blanket, keep him warm. I suspect his bannermen will be interested in that.
They immediately move to help, and they are your loyal assistants as you work to comfort and heal their commanding officer. For all items that are currently there with the party, let me know what you keep and what you don't keep. 2 of them, the lances, cannot be carried easily and must be lashed to the cart or a person's pack, and their pack has to have the ability to do so.
What about a bag of holding?
I don't think you can get it inside. The bag of holding specifically has has to get through the aperture kind of thing. The only way you get this through the aperture would be to throw it.
Nice.
Does not seem advisable.
Ada put the lockbox in her pack. I assume it's small enough that she can do that, or no?
Correct. Yes, this is, in case the description didn't make it clear, exactly. It's more like a reinforced document box.
Okay. For the rest, I would like to sit and very carefully study my book.
You do so. You have an hour to do so.
I would like to not turn too many pages, if you know what I mean.
I, unfortunately, do know what you mean. Is something wrong, Ada?
Something's not right.
What is everyone else doing during their short rest, during their 1 hour here together? Spanbauer and Samantha are angling the party to get moving as soon as possible, but understanding of the situation, of course. Your bannermen are constantly at your side, pouring over you. It is a strange reversal of roles where you are not the paternalistic one anymore, Brenner.
I think through the damage and fugue, the most that he could probably utter is, "Leave the arm, keep the spear."
Elias asked you, should we bury it?
Toss it in the fucking river for all I care.
As you wish, Iron Man. And he does just that. Does anyone else take any actions for the hour? Go ahead.
Were you saying something, Max?
Well, I was just gonna say, obviously Nothing Gold's gonna be working on the cart, but she would, I think, try to rope other people in to help.
Yeah, Taldred will be helping.
So I don't know if Samantha and Spanbauer would be amenable to going to find, like, whole pieces of wood and bringing them back over to the cart.
Somewhat surprisingly, Nothing Gold, they do assist you, using their weapons to help cut pieces of ironwood off of the Spelljammer's burning hulk and providing them to you. Anything to keep things moving.
That's good, because Gasmere, lacking the enemy that she was looking to slaughter, is rounding on Taldred and looking like she's after a fight. You were yelling at him mid-combat, Mr. Tolton. Why?
I'm sorry, what?
Mr. Osric, you were yelling at both of them.
Because I told them that it was a bad idea to go up there on the ship for so many reasons, particularly because we decided we were trying to blow it the fuck up, and if they went up there, they wouldn't be near me, which makes the odds of them being grievously wounded pretty high, and, well, I think we saw how that turned out.
In your opinion, it would have been better if all those creatures aboard the ship would have had free reign to shoot down on the rest of us.
Yeah, we could just went onto the ship.
And this was after your negotiations ended rather horrendously poorly after you convinced the rest of us that, oh, you have this handled. How was it handled?
I don't think that's quite how the conversation this morning went. I said we needed a plan B for very obvious reasons, because this most likely wouldn't go well. You yourself were pretty quick to point that out.
We did have a plan B in the form of the two of them jumping up onto the ship.
I suggested that wasn't a great plan B.
I think it was a wonderful plan B. And I think you have a hard time admitting when you're wrong.
The man lost an arm.
I think the man is fully capable of taking all the risks that he's taking. He understands. He signed up for this mission. He stands to lose more than his arm. I think he did good work.
That's strong language from someone who still has all their appendages.
For now. But I've also signed up for this mission, and I'm aware that I can lose all manner of things. The thing is, I have very little to lose. And that is why I'm here. You, on the other hand, cling to these shreds of your pride. I look forward to seeing them fall off you. You transgress. This is an OOC note. Transgression is yours.
That was great. This table is great.
Noted. Thank you.
So, see, I'm sorry.
So, after carrying all the items near the cart, I am not going to put them in the cart as Ada instructed because the cart needs to be fixed. And in my anxiety-induced state, I will run over to what is remaining of the ship and put out the flames because I don't want a smoke, or basically a smoke signal to have people rush to the area if anybody's around.
You spent some time firefighting. It seems like a massive column of smoke must have already exited the ship crash. However, you can certainly limit the amount of smoke coming out in the future, and you do so using control flames to fight the fire and eventually reduce it to a smoldering husk.
As I'm walking through the rubble, putting out the flames, and standing over the ashes, does anything stand out now that there's not so much smoke?
Not anything other than what Ada has already extracted from the wreckage. Much of what's left seems to be mostly rubble and broken chunks of a spelljammer.
That's fine. I just wanted to double check.
Absolutely. Samantha, in a rare moment of vulnerability, has to steel herself before she says, "Is the cart fixed? Can we go? Is it fixed enough? Can you get that one up in there?"
Yeah, I think it should hold him without too much jostling.
For a moment, Nothing Gold, as you watch Euros fight the fires of the ship, you are reminded of watching Kamar burn. There are different degrees of loss in this world, but destruction of beauty is your highest tragedy. Roll a Constitution saving throw.
12.
You cannot resist and immediately projectile vomit.
So she says this to Samantha, turns, looks, and then just unloads onto the ground.
Talder looks at her and goes, "The dragon meat."
God, no, it just smells exactly like it did in Arabelle.
Oh, I see.
Can I grab some tokens from the dead dragon? Is there a claw?
You can. You can.
Talon? A
You,
scale?
you may butcher the dragons as you see fit. What are you looking for? Scales, talon, an eyeball? What appeals to you, Ada? You can take a trophy. Is that
I
something?
want the talon.
Go ahead and mark it on your character sheet.
As a side note, Taldred was also interested in taking dragon pieces, and I feel like he would have some kind of knowledge about what the most valuable pieces are that are generally taken.
You know a thing or two about the butchery of dragons. It is such.
Well, just the valuable section,
Of course.
of these luxury items or highly sought after items in markets.
You know that some of the most valuable items are the scales and the claws, and to someone with a darker heart, the eyes or the brain.
Well, we don't have time to descale a dragon, so Taldred would probably take an eye, and I'd say that that is definitely something he would be okay with doing, seeing as how his surgery is something that he often takes part in.
It is nonetheless a horrible operation to extract this large cat-like eye from the dragon's orbital bone.
I mean, putting eyes in, taking them out, Taldred's talented.
Go ahead and add a red dragon eye to your character sheet.
I think as he's doing this, and Nothing Gold sort of like crouched down with her arms around her stomach, she'll slip her hand into the pocket and touch the stone, the message rock, and again call out to Helm, just thinking, did you see that?
You ask, Helm, did you see that? The Great Watcher may have seen it, but doesn't respond. You feel like you're tickling something. Something's almost there. The stone feels warm in your hand. The smoke is still rising in the sky.
I think at this point, hours have clearly passed. We've produced enough comfort on this thing, and the party has at least brought Brenner to the wheel with Slab. Is this correct? And somewhere in that, Nothing Gold would have been party to it, correct?
Yeah, in fact, I think as she finally gets her feet under her, stands up and looks over to Brenner and sort of wrinkles her nose at his current condition.
I'm real sorry to have done this to your art project. As he uses his left arm to pound into the now severed arm.
It was always meant to be transient.
And this is a big ask. You'd think you could do another.
Yeah, what do you have in mind?
He just looks at the stump on his arm, where his arm used to be.
I'll admit human anatomy is not my particular specialty, but I have a friend in Waterdeep who got really into prosthetics. I'm sure I could get some design off of her.
I was thinking maybe more. Roots on fire. At this
Roots on
point,
fire.
he's looking directly at you. You are made of burning bark. Is that not correct?
Yeah. Are you thinking of a transplant?
I'm done with Dawn. Fuck.
Do you want to be pledged to wildfire instead?
Yeah, I think so.
She kind of laughs and says, "All right, this is, yeah, I've got a lot of ideas in mind, but you should rest."
Yeah.
If he wants fire, why not just use a dragon bone? Make a frame off of it.
That actually sounds awesome as shit.
I think NG is sort of cringing again, and she's like, "Even up close, those creatures felt so twisted. I can't imagine having that be part of you."
Twisted? How?
They're just lizards.
Have you ever seen illustrations of things that are supposed to live under the sea, like where light doesn't reach?
No.
Well, they don't look like anything that should be shaped right to exist in the world. And I know it doesn't sound very logical, but those dragons feel the same way to my kind.
I think we can talk about this on the road, folks. I think the paladins are right. We should move.
As we're getting ready to leave, Taldred would be looking over Elias' kit as well.
He looks like he's in a bit of shock from the sudden being unconscious and conscious and unconscious and conscious, and you sense that despite his long career as a fighter, he's never fought anything quite like that. Everybody, including him, seems a bit overwhelmed at the sheer surreality of being attacked here by the Githyanki on a Spelljammer, let alone cutting the Spelljammer in half and defeating them.
Taldred approaches him and he says, "How you holding up there, sport?"
He looks over at Brenner. Not nearly as bad as him.
That's why I took so long to have a talk with you. He was a bit worse off. Although you did leave us for a bit there. Did you see anything?
See anything? Do you think this is funny?
No, no, no. I am completely sincere.
He rubs his hands together before gripping his glaive again. Let's get going.
All right.
In
What?
transit, as the party congregates around the cart, through what little sentience that Brenner truly has, he unclips the sword at his hip and presents it to Elias. You're captain now. I can't swear 2 oaths.
It takes him a moment to process this. He takes the sword reluctantly. I'm the commander of the Oswick Company? That doesn't even seem right. Is that what you want?
I do.
He nods.
Iron Mane. As he puts his hand on the shoulder.
He can't help but grin. He can't help but suppress a smile as you say that. Sala even finds a bit of levity and claps him on the shoulder. He takes a moment to digest this information. Is the party traveling?
Before we travel, and everybody's around the wagon, I want to examine the dragon one more time. And with my spare canteen from my explorer's pack, I want to fill it with dragon's blood.
You do so.
But I want to do this where hopefully nobody sees me doing it.
Roll stealth at advantage. There is ample opportunity here because people are very concerned about Brenner. People are very concerned about one another. 13.
With my back to them.
Everybody roll perception at disadvantage. DC 13.
feel like because my passive perception is a 9, I'm probably not going to see anything. But
I rolled a 27.
I rolled a 13.
Taldred, you think you saw something. What is yours doing
sure,
over
rolled a
there?
fucking 9.
Sometimes the passive becomes the active, eh? Taldred,
Yep.
you think you saw Euros doing something. Ada, you know what you saw Euros doing. Is he draining the blood of the red dragon and putting it into a canteen? Euros, the blood, even after exsanguination, is still warm in your fingers. It makes your canteen have a strange warm glow to it.
I will just, I guess, tuck it into my bag or whatever.
You do so, taking a trophy. You travel along the road. As you follow the winding path, you can see the rising spires of Castle Obarskir in the distance, rising over the trees. White smoke rises from the industrial south of the capital. You are perhaps 40 miles away, you surmise. One more day, this night, sleeping on the road, and you think you could probably make it there by tomorrow afternoon. The road maintenance improves as you venture south. Occasionally you see water birds in the low marshlands, and curious minks and mice study you from a distance. You pass a troop transport containing 12 Zent infantry in matching black chainmail, riding in the back of a cart drawn by 6 fast horses. They're heading north, and their grim captain spits on the dusty earth as you pass each other. The sun travels through the sky, and you find something, a natural alcove away from the road that seems safe enough, if a bit too well traveled. There's no subtlety to a camp like this, but there is a certain safety in passing where other people are passing too. One moment. You find yourselves somewhere new.
Nothing gold a word.
She's busy with the horses, but after Ada does that, she'll say, Gasmere, it's your turn to help cool the horses down.
I can't imagine what gave you the impression that I'm capable of doing that, or willing.
Then find somebody else. You're good at delegation.
Mr. Dalton, you appreciate
No.
horses, do you not? Oh, either you do something about them, or they shall do whatever it is the horses do when left by themselves, says Gasmere and turns around and leaves.
Oh well, I'm not good with animals.
I think seeing this, Nothing Gold's like, okay, can we talk here while I tend to the
It's
animals?
fine. I have this lockbox. I think it contains things that are of interest to us. I think it can only really contain a sheaf of papers. Whoever hired these kids,
Oh.
Yankee.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
fine. I don't think I can get it open. But
Yeah, hand it
I
over.
think you can.
Yes, absolutely. I'll have it open yesterday.
I will put it on your character sheet.
Gasmere did forget about Brenna for a hot second there, so she actually sweeps by the cart and keeps walking for a bit, and then she's like, turns around and then comes back to the cart and offers to help Brenna over to the campsite.
I
Coming
can't
out of it.
actually paste the item on your sheet, so you'll have to do it.
Okay.
Coming out of a stupor from sleeping on the cart, he will accept and across the table appreciate the horses not running off with him.
Oh, Mr. Tolton, perhaps this is a task you are better suited for. Is he well enough? Can we actually rest, or should we keep pressing on?
He needs rest more than anything right now.
Very well.
You hear crickets, cicadas, occasionally an owl.
Taldred heads into the woods.
You do so. Roll survival.
Oh, okay.
Or is never heard from again?
7.
It's dark. You slip and catch yourself, but you slide into a pile of brush. Rather dangerous being a human in the woods at night.
That's not how Taldred looks at it.
You're okay. Just a bit roughed up. Looking for something in the woods?
He is. He's looking for some peace and quiet.
You find it.
He begins casting his commune spell as a ritual.
You do so. Takes 10 minutes.
Correct.
You start casting your commune spell, requesting answers from Selune.
Nothing Gold is working on the box, and I rolled a 22 at Thieves' Tools.
You unlock it. One moment.
There's like little tendrils of leaves growing out from the lock.
I love that. There are several things inside. You find a small purple gem that looks identical to the one the captain had. You find a thick book full of strange ramblings.
Yeah, I think she sort of flips through the book, recognizes maybe just Shar, and then sort of goes, "This is odd. Here, Ada, look at this."
Can I make heads or tails of this?
Only what you find there. Your inference will have to be across the table.
What's this?
Across
What's-
the table, where are we seeing the contents? Or is it just so chaotic that
Oh,
there's no
they're in the party tab.
services rendered?
But no, that's
Further down.
that's Tony's bill.
Yeah, it says inane Gith dealings under the psionic supremacy confirmer.
Sorry. Let me...
Another shiny rock.
Now, who would need to get psionic equipment? You see, the Gith and the Illithid are in constant warfare, and the Gith have all kinds of equipment to resist the wiles of the Mind Flayers. Kind of implies that somebody expects to engage with somebody of that caliber.
You think so? It seems to me that quite a few humans are weak to psychic damage.
Yeah, that's possible too, but I don't know any scions. Not exactly common.
Do we know where the nearest Church of Shar is?
Church of Gar.
Roll religion.
Probably under our feet.
21?
church is perhaps a bit of a misnomer. It's hard for Sharites to worship in the open, and typically they don't.
I think you'd have to head underground for that. Nothing gold.
Maris might know.
Isn't Maris a Sirikite?
Sure, but she has connections to any manner of dark dealings.
Fair. Well, Taldred follows Salune. Perhaps Taldred knows.
Do you think Yoros would know?
Oh, good thought. I have a bone to pick with that man anyway.
Do you mind taking that on?
Yeah, I'll do that. Thank you for opening this Nothing Gold.
Can I keep the rock?
Well, Yoros isn't here, so I don't see why not. I'll head over to Yoros.
I'm just sitting by the fire, tending it and getting it going.
Yoros.
Fire's calling me. Ada.
I don't want to be critical of where you draw your power, but you don't have any crazy plans with that dragon's blood, do you?
No. I've heard rumors among the men over the years and through other people that if you can sip on the blood, it makes you stronger. The captain on the ship, he looked frail, and he was able to push me with ease, and I didn't like that. And I also saw how the Crusader just, or whatever it is you want to call it, just took off Brenner's arm.
I couldn't see what happened up there. What happened?
We had two big fellows with very large swords just wailing on Brenner. He held his ground, blocked everything, and then just one slipped through. Turned away from a second, and it just got him. I was trying to deal with the captain. I got him off his crow's nest. Tried to help out where I could. And then, like I said, turn away for a second. His arm's on the ground.
Well, it's good you got down from there before they traveled.
It wasn't your fault, Horse Gastmere from over yonder. You couldn't have done anything more.
No, but as fast as I am, sometimes you need a little more oomph than your sword strikes, you know?
Well, we are working on it. And whatever you did up there was clearly efficient enough to keep them quite well distracted.
I do my best. If the captain was actually against me, it would have been fine. But he was on the crow's nest and we couldn't get to him. I got him down, but...
Whatever you two did up there prevented additional aerial assault to us and gave me enough time to slice the ship in half, so...
Exactly. I am impressed. Mark that on your calendar.
My what?
Yoris, I have another question for you.
I might have another answer.
I pulled some documents from the Githyanki Spelljammer,
Okay.
and they make mention of transactions to a Church of Shar, which, frankly, I've never heard of, especially above the Underdark.
Well, unfortunately for you, I don't know much about them either.
Are you not a supplicant of Shar?
No. No. My associate is a supplicant of Shar.
Maybe your associate knows something about it then, because it seems the Gith were in a bargain with them.
I wouldn't doubt it. But he's been quiet for days.
Okay, well, can't force you to speak to him, but maybe keep it in the back of your mind.
Trust me, I've tried. I don't know if he's throwing a fit or what.
Why would he be
Is
mad
that-
at you?
Unusual. for him to be quiet.
No, it's not unusual. I've been told spirits are fickle things.
Yes, they are.
So are people.
Yes, but since the Avery incident, it's been quiet.
Okay, fair enough. I don't think drinking the dragon's blood will give you what you want without some sort of tempering or enchantment intervention. But feel free. Ugh. I mean, I think it's kind of gross, and I think you need a little bit more finesse with what you're thinking about.
So the rumors are false?
I think I'm not an enchanter. I'm not an alchemist. I would talk to one first before doing something like this. It's going inside of your body, after all. Your armor can't protect you on the inside.
Is there any role that I might make here to try and like? Have I heard of this method of acquiring power before for reasons?
As much as you would like. If this is a rumor that you'd like to, I invite you to add as you see fit without a roll.
Considering that there's been several years when my character would have had time to explore various avenues, if like drinking dragon's blood is a common thing that goes around as a wild rumor, she probably would have heard about it. But would she have heard about anything like, did somebody try it? What happened?
Nothing substantive. Nothing you could directly point to as a, Alyssa heard this anecdote and you could point to it and say, yes, I know this person and can show these results. You've heard vagaries. You've heard jokes. You've heard people naming mixed drinks after dragon's blood.
In other words, this is an experiment waiting to happen. All right. Gasmere lifts an eyebrow and kind of stares, but she doesn't say anything.
The only inklings of the church I've had was when I got this armor and my sword. I just kind of, I wouldn't say woke up with it, but more of I guess a drunken stupor makes more sense. It's kind of hazy. I remember, I assume alkalites or something like that. My companions were off shouting in another room. I had this armor and sword, and I was told, use your magic and go forth. Do what we need, and you'll see your friends again.
In your estimation, that sounds more like Uros is talking about him becoming a thrall to someone rather than something that he allowed or that anyone would volunteer for. That sounds suspiciously like developing someone into a weapon rather than anything that someone would sign up for.
So, what information I have is sparse. As I mentioned, my associate hasn't talked to me in a while, and, well, if he does, I'll get you information.
I just want to know if this loose end is actually connected to our friend Tyranny or not. And if not, that's fine. We can just leave it where it is. But we're short on information in this world.
I mean, they're working with the Flaming Fists, so...
Yeah.
So who knows? I mean, from what I understand, the people who worship the moon have all kinds of shady dealings going on all the time.
You mean the Sharites?
Sure, I never read a Bible or whatever you call it.
Well. And I will walk away.
I will continue soaking the fire.
I think Nothing Gold wants to skip up to Gasmere at some point. She'll sort of sit in between Brenner and Gasmere, just sort of like plop herself down. She has her pack with her, and she starts rummaging through it, and she's like, Gastamir, I picked this up from you last time, and she pulls out one of Gastamir's knives, which is in some sort of state. There's all sorts of, it looks like paint sort of carved into it, and the handle's been shaved away somewhat. It's definitely in some sort of transformative progress.
You do realise this is a family heirloom?
Well, I didn't see you go back for it, so...
Yes, because you'd already managed to pilfer it, it seems. What
Well,
exactly are you doing?
Isn't your body a family heirloom? And look what you've done to yourself. I'm just drawing inspiration from that. Do you know what a Vorpal sword is, by any chance? She takes the long silence as a no, and immediately starts rambling with some pseudo-science slash metaphorical explanation of how like vorpalized metal sort of occupies both space and non-space, and when you draw them through bodies and they pass through as if they're nothing, but they are also something. And then when reality corrects itself, all sorts of nasty things start to happen.
Get to the point.
I think I've seen it firsthand.
That makes sense. I think that I can transfer some of those properties to your knives. The thing about Vorpal in specific is that you need to have some kind of knowledge or instinct about weak points. If there's too many points of contact when you're drawing through them, it's just not going to work as effectively. And of course, it would work better with a sword since there's more material to, sort of impose its both being and not being upon somebody. But I could make these knives pretty damn deadly.
Well, there's the point. Yes, I suppose I won't punish you for doing horrendous things to an heirloom, if that is your goal.
Can I have the rest of the set then?
Is this one done?
No. I will work on all of them together. And I think I can have them to you tomorrow. Then, of course, the next project will be Brenner's arm.
He just, kind of shakily gives you a thumbs up.
I don't think I can make the arm Vorpal, but who knows? Maybe I'll see what happens.
Vorpal arm reach into somebody's chest and pull out the heart. Gasme is looking judgmental as usual. She thinks about this for a long moment, and she thinks about her own comments on how she doesn't have that much to lose. She hands over the knives.
Alright, project commences.
This is an immense amount of trust, I hope you do realise.
I mean, we've built that up over so long.
Yes, when you are not busy wrecking it.
Taldred, you, alone in the woods, find that 10 minutes has elapsed.
If you want to, we could just table this till next session.
It is 10 o'clock. I'm okay with that. Do we want to? I know it's getting pretty late. Why don't we do that? When this long rest commences, you're level 13. So please level up before next session. Can everyone play next week, next Friday, 1 week from
13?
today? Yes,
Yeah,
level 13.
13. I was 11.
Sorry, okay, that's only for 12. Sorry, that's only for one. I'll stop talking, but you should, yes. Gain a level.
Also, thank you to the group for being willing to start late for me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, it was
I'm glad
fun.
we did.
I'm glad you could make it.
This was a sick fucking episode.
I'm turning
Yeah.
40 and my parents are in town.
Okay.
so I couldn't
Happy
come.
birthday.
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday.
Yay.
You are the
You're
gift from
old.
the world to us.
How the world is cynical indeed.
I'm gonna put the feeler out there, Mike. Given some free time of your own, I need to talk to you
Okay.
about this level.
Okay, sounds good. I'm gonna go eat, and then I would love to just catch up after the session.
Sounds good.
You guys are the best. Thank you so much for playing. See you next week.
Bye. Have a
Later.
great
Thank
time.
you.